Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Margaret and you're on BookTube. Thanks for coming by. Today is a Tuesday. Nope. Yep. I don't know. I'm recording this in advance and I haven't decided when I'm going to put it up. It's a double tag Tuesday, so that might be appropriate, but I'm flying on Wednesday and I might want to stretch it out. So we'll see when this comes out. Anyway, you're going to get treated to a double book tag day. We're going to go through Shakespeare because it's Shaketember, and tea because you always need tea, or there's always time for tea, I should say. And just to be a little extra, I'm telling you what my tea is today. It is called Breakfast in Paris. It's put out by Stash, which is a regional tea brand. And I'm going to say it in French because it's a Paris tea. The ingredients are a mélange de thé noir, lavande, essence de bergamote, extrait de vanille. So it's pretty good. I put a little milk in there as well, which means we have black tea, lavender, bergamot, and vanilla. Pretty delightful. So there we go. We're going to start with Shakespeare, though. Now, I was not tagged in these. These are pulled from my little treasure trove of book tags that I might want to do that are rusting away somewhere wordlessly and need to be pulled back from their retirement. So first of all, I've got one from Cara at the Wild Book Garden. She has an amazing channel. Oh, like last time I checked, 86 tags. So she has a variety to choose from. This is the Shakespeare book tag that is on her channel. The first prompt is Much Ado About Nothing. Your favorite bickering couple whom everyone knows really care about each other can be romantic relationship or friendships. And for this one, I thought I'd go back a bit. I think 2014 is when I read this. It's called Must Love Breeches by fellow author Angela Quarles. I think she's down in Georgia or Alabama, one of those two. And she started her own indie bookstore. But this is how I got to know her, is through Must Love Breeches. It's a time travel romance. It's so cute. And they bicker, but at the end, like, of course, there's a happy ending. So I really enjoyed that book. Prompt 2, Measure for Measure, a book whose plot or genre is really hard to explain to other people. This one is also an old favorite. It's called Margaret and I. It's a sci-fi fantasy by Kate Wilhelm, but it's more like a psychological suspense. And if you read it, you'll see what I mean. This was like a personality-defining book because I read this such a long time ago. So interested to hear if anyone else has read that. It's very hard to find. Prompt 3, A Midsummer Night's Dream. Your favorite book featuring fairies or elves. And because of the timing, I'm going to say an ACOTAR book, which is A Court of Mist and Fury by the Sarah J. Maas. And this is the second. I think this is the second in the series, and it's sort of like the culmination for me, which is weird because there's actually 5 books in this world. So who says if that's a success or a failure? I don't know. But yeah, there's a lot of fae characters there. Question number 4, Hamlet, an underutilized female character. And since it's not a very positive prompt, I'm going to go with one I didn't give a great rating, which was Native Tongue by Suzette Hayden Elgin. This is a book from the 70s, I think, that I read recently, and it had a lot going for it, but underutilized female character. I didn't feel like the structure was really up to the thing it was attempting. So there you go. Question number 5, the sonnets. Choose your favorite poem. And I'm going to go with 2 here. One you've heard before if you've been a long-time subscriber, but I'm going to say it again just in case I get better with each recitation. And John actually just heard this one because he was just in the old video, so you can skip forward if you like. But this is called Funeral Blues by Auden, and it's one of my favorites. It's also from 4 Weddings and a Funeral. It's a little sad, so prepare. Stop all the clocks, cut off the telephone, prevent the dog from barking with a juicy bone, silence the pianos, and with muffled drum, bring out the coffin, let the mourners come. Let aeroplanes circle moaning overhead, scribbling on the sky the message, he is dead. Put crape bows round the white necks of the public doves. Let the traffic policeman wear black cotton gloves. He was my north, my south, my east and west, my working week and my Sunday rest, my noon, my midnight, my talk, my song. I thought that love would last forever. I was wrong. The stars are not wanted now. Put out every one. Pack up the moon and dismantle the sun. Pour away the ocean and sweep up the wood, for nothing now can ever come to any good. Ah, yeah. So good. So good, especially in John Hannah's Scottish accent. So that is Auden. And for the other one, I'm taking a less known poet, Sue Parman, in her The Carnivorous Gaze collection. It's called Is It Worth a Lot? It took a while for my father to learn that when he traveled, he should bring home gifts. He often forgot and never got the hang of it. My mother was easy, Chanel number 5. My sister, a glass horse. I got the weird stuff, as if he couldn't figure me out. One time, there was a postage stamp. Put it under the microscope, he said. I expected rainbows or a lost world and got the Bible. Once a bundle of rawhide scraps. And then there was the chunk of dirty glass he revealed in his slowly opened hands. It's a diamond, he said, man-made. Is it worth a lot? I asked. But he didn't speak, as if not knowing what to say. For some reason, that really touched me. So I've got a small poetry collection, but those are the two that I thought I'd try out today. Prompt number 6, Richard III, a protagonist willing to do anything to get what they want. And in this one, I'm going to use The Other Black Girl by Zakiya Dalila Harris. This is a new release, and it was very exciting, very entertaining, and there's a twist. So that's all I'll say. There's no spoilers here. Prompt number 7, Antony and Cleopatra. Ooh, and here's my side note. I read Antony and Cleopatra for Shaketember, and it will be in my September wrap-up, so stay tuned. Your favorite trope or bookish buzzword, historical figure, etc., for which you still haven't found that perfect book. So I'm going to say books set in a bookstore or library with romance. I came pretty close with The Bookshop of Second Chances last month, but I really want more recommendations for your favorite set in a bookstore or library romances that you really love. So you can never have too many of those. And I haven't found like the perfect one that is my 5-star book. So there you go. Prompt number 8, Titus Andronicus, a lesser known work by a popular author, one which you want more people to read. Ooh, okay. And so I'm reading Gathering Moss by Robin Wall Kimmerer this month. I just finished it yesterday and it's 5 stars. I'm going to do it in a book review of its own, well, paired with one other, you'll see. So stay tuned for that as well. But yes, Braiding Sweetgrass is her breakout blockbuster that came out after. Gathering Moss came before that, and I think it's a similar tone put out by Oregon State University. So lots of Pacific Northwest in there. Many things to love. Prompt number 9, King Lear, a complex female villain or anti-hero. And I'm not sure why it's female if it's King Lear. I guess you should think Cordelia. Anyway, so this one took a little bit of thinking. I'm going to say The Essex Serpent by Sarah Perry. Cora, which sounds like Cordelia. Cora is definitely a complex hero or anti-hero, depending on how you interpret that book. We had a lot of great discussion when I buddy read it a couple months ago. So, yeah, it's a good one. Prompt number 10, The Taming of the Shrew. Choose 2 polarizing books, one you loved and one you hated. And for this one, I'm going to go with I loved 10,000 Doors of January by Alex Harrow. I don't know if that's polarizing, but I don't think it gets enough play. And she's well loved, but maybe she'd work for the last question. I don't know. And then this might be a little bit more polarizing, although I think people are pretty split. I really didn't enjoy Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. I DNF'd it halfway through. It was partly the Japanese contemporary fiction thing that I'm encountering about being socially awkward and really delving into that and layering it and like just too much, just wasn't comfortable reading. And partly the like not getting a sense of satisfaction from the tales that were being told. So maybe it would have changed if I finished, but wasn't worth it. And then prompt number 11, give me your hands if we be friends. Tag some people, but I have to finish that line. And Robin shall restore amends. That was actually my line in high school. So there we go. I'm going to tag all the people who have like a actor connection, except Lana because I just tagged her in something. So Pages and Stages, Bookish Shenanigans, Charlotte of Queenie Reads, and Too Tight Lautrec. So hopefully you guys enjoy doing this. I'll put your channels in the description. And yes, Shakespeare, getting a chance to stretch is always fun. So the second tag we have today is to do with tea. This one I found on Kazen of Always Doing's channel, and she has one called Time for Tea and Books. And I think most people who did it 2 or 3 years ago. So here's hoping it gets resurrected because we are in the tea loving category. And that is just about the perfect temperature, 1 tag's worth of cooling. That's good to know. For this one, I'm going to tag my people first. I looked up people who I know have a connection with tea in their title or otherwise. So first off, I'm tagging JD Estrada because he does tea tastings and has like the weekly shtick. I'm going to tag tea with Leah and books and tea time. I hope those are okay. I hope you guys enjoy doing these prompts. So question number 1, choosing your tea. Which genres do you tend to lean towards and what kind of teas? So I tend to lean towards journeys, whether that be fiction or nonfiction, history and mystery, and in teas I like black or chai or herbal. I mean, I like what I like. I like things all over the place. What can I say? Prompt number 2, hot water. What books made you feel gripped by the main character's plight? And do you prefer hot or iced tea? So definitely hot. We are not of the sweet tea variety here. And a main character whose plight gripped me. I'm going to go with What is the What by Dave Eggers. I have that linked in the description. This is a book about an immigrant who feels cast aside in the United States and his struggle to find meaning and connect with people here after his harrowing experience in his home country. And it was just really powerful. There were a few quotes that I printed out, like I printed out copies of the pages and hung them around my apartments. This is from like 10 years ago because they were so impactful. So definitely gripped me. Prompt number 3, brew time. What book improved for you over reading or rereading? And how much milk do you add? So I add anywhere from a plash to a dollop to a third. So, I mean, it just varies depending on the strength of the tea. And for chai, you usually have much more than a regular black tea. But the book that improved over reading or rereading, I am going to use one that I had for March of the Modern. So I'll put the playlist up here. Earlier this year, I started out Cruise of the Nona thinking, well, okay, this is in my time period. This is an interesting name I'd like to get to know before I give it up. This is one of those sickly books that didn't look like it was going to survive more than one reading. But it's by Hilaire Belloc, who is a French-sounding but raised British writer from the 20s and 30s. And it grew on me. His voice was very of the time and left a lot of things out and didn't consider a lot of things. But he did have interesting peregrinations as he sort of bumped along the southwestern coast of England and thought about things. So it grew on me, I will say. Prompt number 4, milk and sugar. What are your favorite actual and accidental bookmarks? Ooh, and I've got this to show. My actual favorite bookmark is going to be this one here that I got at the Antiquarian Book Fair in Portland. It's from the Clinker, there we go, the Clinker Press. They put this out for people. Humphrey Clinker saying, "Weave from art a garment for your soul." And I just really liked it. It's hand done on letterpress, so it's a quality craft. And I love the quote, and I love the arts and craftiness of the letterpress, like all the things, perfect. And accidental bookmark, I always love using boarding passes. Sometimes they end up in the memento box, but not usually. Sometimes they end up as bookmarks. So yeah. And one lump or two, I'm going to go with, I usually put in about a teaspoon or a sliver. These are very highly technical measurements. Sliver of honey. I do use honey a lot too. So there you go. Prompt number 5, the perfect tea set. Do you display your books or keep them secret? And do you have a favorite mug, cup, teapot, etc.? So I definitely display my books for myself. I've said this before, that when I have something that I feel needs doing, I put it out in my view so that it's a constant reminder. And sometimes I vacillate on whether this is a positive thing or a negative thing, because it could be positive because I'm giving myself a nudge to do a thing, but it could be negative because I'm guilting myself and tormenting myself by tripping over this pile of stuff in the middle of the floor until I do a thing, when really why be so harsh? So I don't know. I heard other people that do the same thing, so who knows? It's an ebb and flow. And favorite mug. I'm gonna go with the Danone the Danone mug, which is a famous English bone porcelain company. But I also have good memories associated with this because I bought it with my mom on our 2018 trip to, among other places, Danone. So yeah. Prompt number 6, sip and sigh. Is there a book that makes you feel cozy immediately? And what's your favorite setup for drinking tea? Yes. So I was going to say When Wanderers Cease to Roam. It's an illustrated book. It's a traveler's journal of staying put. That's the tagline, by Vivian Swift. And Vivian Swift has this very whimsical watercolor style of illustration. And she has this gorgeous book. I think I've shown it before, but it's a lot like the one where there's an illustrator traveling through the Hebrides. It's just observing regular scenes, and this makes me feel cozy because she decided, instead of traveling all over and being a bohemian, to stay on Long Island. And she observed all these normal city, suburban scenes, nature scenes, water scenes, lots of cozy sweaters. She talks about things of being in her home and enjoying that even when she feels like she needs to travel. And so it's like a fight with yourself, but trying to be gentle at the same time. So that makes for cozy, apparently. And set up for drinking tea. I believe I said this recently, in the wing back over here by the bookshelf with the table lamp and a mug of tea. I mean, it's kind of sounds like a clue murder in the wing back with the candlestick. But yeah, that is my setup. And prompt number 7, another cup. A book you're currently reading or one you plan to read next. And how often do you drink tea? So I'm going to say this one. It's in my September TBR, Life of an Anarchist by Alexander Berkman. And I was warned by the owner of this book, from whom I have borrowed it, that it is quite dense and it's really sort of something to dip in and dip out of. So it may take me longer than September to report back. But this is, I think, the one I'm going to be boning up on next, for especially the beginning part where he's talking about 1880s and 90s and what turned him into an anarchist in that time period. Should be pretty good. And as far as how often I drink tea, I'm going to give 2 to 4 times a day in terms of a cup. But, cups vary widely. This is about 16 ounces. So cup or measuring cup, we'll have to go with it varies. But yeah, lots of tea, lots of happiness every day. Very happy to say so. So I hope the tea actionaries and the Shakespeare. Oh, I should have tagged Ben at Doom Antidote. Okay, I'm gonna put him in too. Doom Antidote. He's a Shakespearean actor that just came back from a play. So yeah. Those are my tags. That is this Tuesday or Wednesday experience, and I am winging my way over to Chicago. So hopefully see people in Chicago soon, and have a lovely day.